Welcome to another edition of Green is Good. We're so excited. This is the Houlihan Lokey edition of Green is Good in beautiful New York City, New York, where I'm from actually. And we're so honored to have today with us Rick Shipley. He's the COO and the co-founder of Organics Recycling. Welcome to Green is Good.
John, it's my pleasure. What better place to be than New York City in the spring? It's wonderful. A little cloudy today, but all right. Well, we're cheering and it's sunny in here, right?
And before we get talking about Organics Recycling and what you're doing here today at the Houlihan Lokey, conference, can you share a little bit about the Rick Shipley story before the organic story?
We'll keep this on the high level, so we'll tell you all the nice things. I'm a Midwestern kid.
Okay.
I don't show it sitting down, but I'm 6'8", so I'm a sports guy. Every sport, if it has a ball involved, if it has competition involved, I loved it growing up. And so I grew up as just a typical Midwestern kid playing sports, a normal story. And as my life moved on and I got into a professional world, I started moving towards a recycling world, just by accident almost, and some awareness around recycling and the importance of it and the value that we're bringing beyond just the dollars and cents. So it really changed the way I look at the world, and as I've had kids, and all of those things have been very transformative as we've come to center. And so, I've got kids that are now becoming teenagers, and I think now about what the world's going to be like for them as we go forward. And so my mind as a person growing up, a kid growing up, I don't want to say it was wasteful, but I wasn't conscious. And now as I've grown and I have kids, I'm becoming much more conscious of the world around me. And so I'd like to think I've matured. Some say I'm just getting old and losing my hair, but I would say I've matured over the years.
And what year did you have the aha moment and the epiphany to start Organics?
It was late 2009, and Organics is a food waste recycling company. We take product that is not sold, not eaten, not utilized, and we recycle that. But that was about late 2009, early 2010. An idea was created that there's a major problem in this country, and being from a background of logistics and recycling other types of commodities, it was kind of a natural fit for my partner and I to start this company, and we've now taken it to new levels that haven't been seen in this country yet in this sector. But it was kind of it's one of those things that you don't think about, John. When somebody says food waste, you say, well, what is food waste?
Right.
And then when you explain it to people and they say, I never thought of that, you're onto something when you give them that aha moment. And they say, I never thought of that.
And for our audience members that just joined us, we've got Rick Shipley. He's a COO of Organics Recycling. And to learn more about Rick's great company, go to www.organics, ORGANIX, recycling.com, organicsrecycling.com. So 2009, you and your partner come together to start this. Did you just put your own money in? Did you raise some money? You have an idea, because we have so many audience members in the United States and around the world that want to make the world a better place like you're doing with Organics, but they want to understand how you're doing it, and not only how the business operates, but how do you start a good idea?
It is. It starts from an idea.
Right.
And some of it's right place, right time. Some of it is the background you come from. Obviously, money is a key catalyst to any of these things. Fortunately, we come from a background of recycling of the types of commodities which I mentioned. So there was some familiarity with what it would take.
Got it.
Both structurally, operationally, and then financially. So we were able to raise that money privately. And start the company, and it just exploded from there. But the foundation of any company is an idea and meeting a need. I don't care if it's recycling, I don't care if it's product-based, I don't care if it's service-based. It's meeting a need that someone has. And sometimes people aren't even aware that they have that need until you bring that opportunity to them. And again, it's back to that, I didn't realize that, you're correct, let's talk. And that's kind of how this thing took off in the early years.
What city did you start it in?
We started in Chicago, and we just branched out from there. Now we're in 34 states, the whole eastern seaboard, Midwest, the South, all the way out to the Southwest.
So 34 states, and approximately how many cities now?
Cities,
A lot.
essentially every city in the states that we cover.
Wow.
We don't have a map here. to
Hundreds,
show.
hundreds of
Yeah,
cities.
thousands, if you will.
Thousands of
We
cities.
provide service to more than 2/3 of the population of the United States. We have the ability to service that.
So talk about what Organics Recycling's proposition is. I am the city manager of XYZ city in America. You come in and you say, hey, I'm Rick Shipley, I'm with Organics, and give me the pitch.
There are 2 or 3 different areas we hit.
Okay.
First of all, financially, we're creating value from what traditionally has been a waste. Product that has been thrown into a landfill to die forever. Not just die, but emit methane gases and all the harmful things that organic material.
And fill up a landfill.
Absolutely. So first of all, we're creating value from what was previously a waste. So financially, we bring a proposition that says we can do the same thing that your traditional waste hauler was doing, but we can do it for less money for you.
Wow.
That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, environmentally, it's very harmful and damaging product. It's a very acidic product. When you talk about food waste, it has strong odors, it attracts insects. There's a lot of badness, if you will, to food waste.
Okay.
Well, let us take that away and control that and now handle it in a more appropriate manner and not just have it running out your leaky compactors and out trucks and things like that as they're running down the street. We control that. Thirdly, from a social aspect, it's not just the right thing to do. That's a very generic statement. But the social awareness that we have in this country and really around the world now with social media and just the availability of information. Socially, when people become aware of what the problematic issues are with this waste and what the recycling processes can do to eliminate those, there's no one that says no. We just now have to put the puzzle pieces together on the desk to make it work, but no one ever says no to that proposition. It's just putting those puzzle pieces together.
Wow. And in terms of waste streams, how big is the waste stream in the United States, and how big is your opportunity?
It's staggering. We throw away in the United States on an annual basis, and it grows every year, 35 to 38 million tons of food waste goes into a landfill every year. For perspective, every man, woman, and child, even the baby that was just born 2 seconds ago,
Wow.
on average is throwing away 220 to 225 pounds of uneaten, wasted food into a landfill every year. Now, there are large amounts that are recycled every year. We, Organics, will recycle somewhere in the neighborhood of 450 to 500,000 tons of material this year, but we're still throwing 35 to 38 million tons into a landfill. So the problem is twofold. We are a wasteful society in general because we are a wealthy society in general.
Right.
We also are very particular shoppers when it comes to supermarkets. We shop with our eyes. So when we walk into a supermarket, we want the pretty produce, right? We don't want the ones with blemishes. And so the ones with blemishes go uneaten, unsold, and go to waste if they can't be donated.
Wow.
And they're very good. You cut the bad part off, they're still able to be eaten. There's nothing wrong with the dates on them. They just have a small bruise on them. So it is a societal issue. It's a shopping issue from a consumer standpoint, but it's also we're a wasteful society in general. So a long-winded 35 to 38 million tons still goes into a landfill every single year.
So truthfully, in terms of your business proposition, and we're here at Houlihan Lokey's, big conference, environmental services conference. You're speaking today, and you're speaking to a group of media. You're speaking to potential investors, potential partners all around the United States, even potentially around the world. It's really the top of the first inning for your company, even though you're so successful already at what you're doing.
To use your baseball metaphor, I would say we're still in batting practice. That's the way we really look at it. When I tell people, I say, I don't want to do an injustice to the phrase of scratching the surface. I'm not sure we're even scratching the surface yet. We're doing marvelous things with the product we're collecting. And we're doing marvelous things for the customers and the clients that we service. But the world of this food waste is so big, and yes, so we're an environmentally conscious company. We are a transportation company. We are a recycling company. At the end of the day, we're a problem-solving company. This is a problem.
That's right.
In this country and around the world, really.
That's right.
We have hunger is a major issue, and we're throwing away massive amounts of food in this country alone. And so there are ways to take this product, not just reduce waste. That's number one. Reduce what we waste. But after that, what can we do with the product that we are wasting to benefit those in need? And one of the things we try to do outside of just straight donation programs is we take a lot of this product and we feed it to animals that ultimately feed people via whether it's proteins, whether it's milk, whether it's different kinds of animals. But we try to put that back in the food chain indirectly and make sure that food stays available to people that need it from a hunger standpoint.
So from a circular economy standpoint, which seems to be the new buzz terms and things of that such, you're really taking a problem and putting it in the whole circular economy. You're making another solution out of that problem.
Solving two problems, you're right. We're hoping to solve a waste problem, and then hopefully we're making some dent in some way into the hunger problem at the same time.
If you've just joined us now, we've got Rick Shipley. He's a COO and co-founder of Organics Recycling. To learn more about Rick's great company, go to www.organics, it's spelled with an X, ORGANIX, recycling.com, organicsrecycling.com.
How about that originality? That X in there just to throw
throw us off, so I would say that. And people remember that.
You have to say it so people remember.
Exactly.
Right.
So, Rick, you are now the number one company in this space. Talk a little bit about when food comes in, because there's going to be people who are watching or listening to this show who are going to be the socially aware or socially conscious restaurant owner, city manager, ecopreneur who wants to bring you to their community. How does the whole system work? How do you pick up the food? Is it different in each state and different in each city? How do you pick up the old food waste? And then where does it go? Do you have one facility? Do you have 20 facilities? Where does this stuff get processed?
Good question. So let's start at its core.
Yeah.
The product we collect as a rule is 85% water, H2O.
Wow.
So one, that makes it by definition a very, very regional business. There's no money moving water very far. There's no value in water in that aspect.
Got it.
So it's a very regionally based business. But our collection model today, generally speaking, looks much like a traditional waste hauler would look. We go to a store, we'll collect the product, we go to the next store, collect the product, and we have a route-based business. Then we also partner, or we own, operate, partner with local recyclers within a given marketplace. Again, so we don't have to haul it a long distance, both from an economical standpoint and a carbon footprint standpoint.
Got it.
But we want to keep that local, and then we recycle it right there in the marketplace. So what we do is we create micro businesses all over the country. So we're a large business with 34 states plus Puerto Rico. But really what we have is hundreds of small businesses. In Dallas, Texas, we have a business. And in Houston, Texas, we have a business. And in Chicago, we have a business.
That's
and in
great.
Philadelphia, we have a business. We look at each of these in the aggregate, but we also look at them on a micro level, and we identify what are the uniquenesses of that market, whether it's geography, topography, what are the best recycling methods within that market, what are the weather aspects that allow us to do different things with it, cause the collection process to change. So there are a number of variables, and that's why we have to look at this on a very, very micro-regional basis and make our decisions on those aspects. Certainly there are global ways we run our business, and we have certain themes that we run across our platform, but we run it on a very local basis because it's a local business.
Got it. And so you bring in all this product right now, and you quote unquote recycle it. Is it using proprietary technology or some other, without giving away your secret sauce, what's the proposition to our listeners and our viewers today? Where does your old food go once it comes to organics recycling?
It goes to, first and foremost, everything we do, because the size, scale, we have to follow a number of federal and state regulations.
Got it.
From DOT to EPA to FDA, because we're in the feed business as well. So again, this is geographically driven. In certain markets, we're making compost out of the product.
Got it.
In some markets, we're making energy out of the product via anaerobic digestion. In other markets, we're feeding animals where animals are prevalent. And so we don't get stuck into a hole of saying this is the way our business looks. Back to the micro aspect of our business. We give reporting back to our customers so they know exactly what they're generating to help with their purchasing practice, their handling practices, to hopefully reduce that waste. We also have full chain of custody all the way through the process, so they know where it starts from, where it ends up. We're transparent in that aspect. So we're unique, again, we're unique to traditional waste hauling from a transparency standpoint, from a reporting standpoint.
Which, by the way, Rick, is very important, because now they're going to turn back to both, if they're a publicly traded company, to their board, to their C-suite, and to their constituents, and be very transparent about all the good green things they're doing, because they're able to share your reporting back with them.
Because generally speaking, when we walk into, again, I'll call it a client, and
Yeah.
maybe a municipal entity or whatever, they have no idea what they're generating in our space. Because
Right.
it's never been tracked, it's never been segregated.
Right.
Once we start feeding that data back to them, it's surprising to them how the volume that's being generated, the constituents of the product that's being generated. And again, they then can act upon that and make better business decisions at their business because of the things we're doing on the back end. Not just the great things we're doing from a recycling. Those are all great. The social aspect, those are fabulous.
Fabulous.
But we also help their business at the same time.
Right. So, and that old adage of what's measurable is manageable holds true. Because now you're finally giving them a measurement, they can manage this even better and report it even better.
Right.
So you got the transparent reporting, and you're saying it's a push-pull business. You have the economic drivers and the social reasons people want to do this now, but it's also being pushed on them from different states because the laws are different in each state. And then you're modeling, you're creating, like you said at the top of the show, you're creating specific solutions wherever you go geographically, because geographically it's not a one-size-fit-all business.
Needs are different in all aspects. Compost is more valuable in Phoenix than it is in the Midwest, just by definition.
Right.
There are good soils as a rule in the Midwest. There are not good soils in Phoenix. So we look at all those aspects, and I think, again, when we get pigeonholed into a very singular, narrowly faced business, it's probably the end of our business. When we lose our ability to be nimble and to be thinkers and to really use our entrepreneurial spirit that we have and what was the catalyst for kind of starting this company, then it's kind of the end of our business, because then we just become a hauler, a simple recycler. We don't innovate anymore.
Talk a little bit then why it's so important for a founder, an ecopreneur, an innovator like you to come to a conference like this conference today, the Houlihan Lokey conference, and evangelize what you're doing.
It's more than anything, it's education.
Okay.
Because as we talked about earlier, there is general awareness of waste problems in the United States. But until you say it out loud and you hear it from somebody's mouth, you don't realize the micro problems of, food waste problem, electronics problem,
right.
And all of these different sectors.
Right.
And so what we're hoping to do is to educate the attendees today of the issues at hand, some of the solutions that we believe we've come up with. We don't believe we are the only people that have every answer, or we don't believe we have every answer. But we want to collaborate, and we believe there are very intelligent people that attend these conferences, both from the private sector, the public sector, the investor sector, that there are collaborations that can take this to other levels that individually any of these entities can't do themselves.
That's right.
And so we think education at this level, and education at the student level, educating our children on being less wasteful, being wise with purchasing, being wise with usefulness.
Right.
All along the spectrum. We're not going to change our wastefulness overnight. But you have to start with education to start turning that pendulum.
Speaking of education, so how much of your time is spent on the road educating, evangelizing, being a great composting, organic recycling ambassador across the United States and maybe even internationally?
If you ask me, or are you asking my wife? I think you'll get two different answers.
Okay.
Right? No, I do spend a significant amount of time doing a number of things, speaking, educating,
right.
Business development,
right.
Working with our employees. So I do spend a lot of time on the road, all of it to the core of doing better. This is a very simple statement, doing better with this waste.
Wow. Wow.
And it's reducing waste. It's handling it more properly, handling it more efficiently, recycling into better products. It's this whole continuum. The only thing that's the solution is stopping the waste from being generated. As much as we'd all say we'd love to have,
Come on.
it's not going to happen.
Right.
It's certainly in my lifetime.
Right.
So now we have to say, what can we do just to reduce the amount generated?
Right.
Knowing it's not going away, now what do we do in this other part to recycle it more efficiently into better products that are in demand and that help people's lives?
How old are your children, Rick?
15, 12, and 10.
So you got to be the cool dad now. Because you're really doing.
Again, who are you asking?
I mean, I'm asking. Well, from your kids' perspective. From your kids' perspective, I mean, because you're doing something that's really, that my son and daughter are 28 and 22. They think sustainability is amazing. When we were kids, it really wasn't on our radar.
It wasn't even a word you used, right?
But I mean, because you're doing something that's so meaningful, that has so much societal benefit and makes the world a better place. Your kids must really be proud.
I think my kids will be the first to tell you that. So we could be on a beach, we could be in an airport, we could be wherever, a restaurant,
right? And
somebody will just generically say, "Well, what do you do for a living?"
Right.
And they just say, "Oh boy, here we go," because they know the excitement I have about our business and what we're not just the business, but what we're doing.
That's awesome.
And it's a 20-minute conversation. But no, they when they're at their schools and they see the waste and they talk about recycling generically. They can raise their hand and say, "Hey, I know something that we're not talking about," and so no,
that's really great.
I think it has changed our family's mindset towards waste and recycling both. Because again, there's different things. Again, reducing waste is still the ultimate answer.
That's right.
Reducing waste is the only answer, but we're just not going to get there again in my.
And you got to deal with the problem as we know it today, and that's what you're doing. We're almost out of time here, Rick, but I do want you to end on the future. Where are you going? I mean, let's just be clear. You're the number one company in this space in the U.S. right now.
We are the largest collector of supermarket waste and recycler of supermarket waste in the United States. Yes.
Wow. And so, what is the future? You're into this now 6 years or so. Where are you going to be going with it in the future?
Well, we're very narrowly focused in our business today. We collect mainly from supermarkets, which only represents about 10% of all food waste in the United States. So first of all, and we've only penetrated about 13% of that market. So there's a large opportunity just to continue maturing that business. But now we have to address the other 90% of food waste out there. And so we think that ultimately, with all of the things that we're doing, ultimately technology and product generation is the ultimate answer. Because once you make products that have real value in a given marketplace, everything else makes sense financially, it makes sense socially, it makes sense environmentally. All these other things that people say yes to make even more sense when you're creating real products that have value in the marketplace. Financial values, social values, environmental values, all of those things have value in general.
Right.
And so as technology catches up to logistics and some of the other aspects of our industry, that will be the catalyst to making this thing not just grow rapidly, absolutely explode when technology starts transforming the products we're generating or creating into higher values. So
a year from now, when you come back on Green is Good, you'll be in all 50 states, hopefully, right?
Our goal is to be world dominant now.
No,
we believe somebody needs to do this coast to coast. There are pockets that still aren't being covered. So to your point, yes, we want to be a national company.
And I'm sure you get international phone calls for that matter. And is that a possibility down the road?
We don't say no to much, and sometimes that gets us in trouble. But no, we say yes to most everything, and we explore every option that's out there. Obviously, it's got to make financial sense to us. We are still business people, but it maybe doesn't have to make the financial sense that it might to somebody making a product only. Whereas we can do the right things and still make some money while we're doing that. Well, we're going to leave it at that today, Rick. We're going to have you back on Green is Good to continue the story of organics recycling. To learn more about Rick Shipley's company, go to Organics Recycling. That's with an X. ORGANIX recycling.com. You are an inspiring innovator. You are making the world a better place. You are a sustainability superstar and truly living proof, Rick, that green is good. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.